The spotlight is back on Meghan Markle. Over the past 48 hours, she's been trying to recover from the backlash over her latest Harper's Bazaar cover. A new behind-the-scenes clip surfaced, showing an overly enthusiastic fan declaring her a perfect 10. But the bigger story isn't the applause. It's how Meghan and Harry are navigating life in the US.
Breaking right now, Meghan Markle has spent the past 48 hours trying to recover from the desperate and disastrous reaction to her Harper's Bazaar cover shoot, including posts.
Sources reveal that another wealthy friend has stepped in to help. Victoria Jackson, the cosmetics mogul with sprawling homes in New York, Beverly Hills, and Montecito, has been lending them properties, and even a private jet. Meghan and Harry reportedly stay at Jackson's homes whenever they're in the city, enjoying luxury, privacy, and security without paying a cent. From lavish interiors to glass elevators and oak countertops, these homes are a world apart from the average American's life.
Network. But first, Brittany, I want to go to these new revelations over the weekend from the Daily Mail, headlined, "The woman giving Harry and Meghan the royal life they can no longer afford, complete with lavish homes and a private jet." Now, the woman in question is Victoria Jackson. And this is how the Mail's reported it. "When you are a friend of Victoria Jackson, there is clearly no shortage of places to stay. She is, after all, the Queen of Cosmetics, and as such has fabulous homes on the Upper East Side in New York, in the heart of Beverly Hills, and between the mountains and the Pacific Blue in Montecito."
In 2023, the couple stayed at Jackson's New York residence during a paparazzi chase. They've also used her Los Angeles and Montecito homes, including for Meghan's 34th birthday. Even her children have been introduced to Jackson's exotic pets. The insider explains that these properties provide not just comfort, but safety, and the private jet saves them hundreds of thousands while allowing maximum discretion. It's a lifestyle fully funded by friends, a pattern Meghan and Harry are known for.
And now it can be revealed that the generous septuagenarian makeup tycoon has been loaning them all to her pal, the Duchess of Sussex. It was Jackson's imposing New York brownstone where Meghan was announced to her Harper's Bazaar interview by a house manager. Do you remember that last week? Introducing the Duchess of Sussex. There's no one there and you're not a real Duchess. But a well-connected source says that Meghan and Prince Harry habitually stay there when they have business in the city. So this woman's a complete enabler. What is she thinking? Indeed, they were staying there in 2023, where there was a disputed car chase with paparazzi. Exquisitely appointed, the property boasts the interior glass elevator and a kitchen with oak worktops, noted in the magazine's cover interview. They have been staying there for years. They always stay at Jackson's houses, says the source. I'm told that Jackson's home in Los Angeles is...
Critics argue that Meghan's approach is opportunistic. She seeks out wealthy connections to maintain an ultra-luxurious lifestyle she cannot fully fund herself. Friends like Elton John and Tyler Perry have stepped back over past controversies, but Jackson appears willing to enable them, for now. Some insiders suggest Meghan's charm only lasts as long as the benefits do. And when it comes to talent or work ethic, critics claim the couple falls short, relying on influence and PR to sustain their image.
Also used as a base by the couple. They are understood to have stayed there 2 weeks ago before controversially going to Kris Jenner's 70th birthday. Meghan also uses Jackson's other mansion in Montecito. Indeed, she had her 31st birthday party there in 2021 rather than at her own home. The following year, she met an interviewer from The Cut there. It's a venue that's also proved popular with children Archie and Lilibet, who apparently love petting the micro pigs Jackson keeps there. Victoria's houses make their place in Montecito look like a prison or a beach shack. Alison Boshoff, the Mail reporter, is told it suits them for security. The houses are unbelievable and they don't have to pay at all, which is appealing. What's more, the generous Jackson apparently lends the couple her Falcon private jet for trips. This will save them hundreds of thousands of dollars and allow them to travel with enhanced security.
Meanwhile, Meghan's hosting attempts have come under fire. A recent social media video meant to showcase her accessible side backfired. She demonstrated breakfast stations with frozen pancakes and store-bought quiches, posing them as thoughtful, creative spreads. The public saw it differently, a lazy, staged attempt at charm. Commentators argue that Meghan doesn't host, doesn't clean, doesn't prep. She merely arranges appearances, relying on staff.
What Meghan believes is like a game-changing move in social media. Her little 2-minute videos, which what she claims is going to be the big creative outlet post losing the Netflix deal, being dumped creatively. But actually, Brittany, when I watched this, I honestly was like, Meghan is the worst host in the world. I'm not actually joking, Brittany. Like, remember, this is a woman who has more money than sense, who has staff, and she just doesn't want to do a damn thing for anyone. She's a lazy cow. Okay, half of you watching this are not subscribed to Dan Wootton Outspoken, and the best way you can support what we do is by hitting that subscribe button. It is completely free, and turn on the notification bell to be alerted to our new episodes.
I thought the same thing, Dan. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was like, oh my gosh, she is the lazy.
Even the Harper's Bazaar interview had its strange moments. Staff were instructed to announce her as the Duchess of Sussex everywhere she went. Gyms, Starbucks, doorways, hallways. Fans defended it as protocol, but critics called it peak diva behavior. The insistence on a royal title in everyday life highlights a deeper obsession: the need to maintain status and control perception, even outside the monarchy.
Let's talk about the fallout from this interview, because it has continued all weekend, Brittany. Shooter Scoop, Rob Shooter, now reporting that she actually even demands the use of her title, Brittany, at the gym and at Starbucks. He writes, Meghan Markle is making headlines again, this time for a detail buried deep in a Harper's Bazaar profile that has the internet buzzing. Writer Caitlin Greenidge casually notes that staff announce Meghan as Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, everywhere she enters a room. One source sniped, if there's a doorway, a hallway, or a yoga mat, trust me, someone is whispering the title first. Greenidge's piece is glossy and glowing until that one razor-sharp line, which insiders say cuts.
Behind-the-scenes footage tried to soften the image, showing hugs and compliments, but the narrative feels forced. Mainstream media attention is fleeting, and no real accomplishments accompany the glitzy presentation. Critics argue the shoot is hollow, a PR stunt that reminds the public of what's missing: real talent, substance, and impact. Recycling old tropes, cosplaying royalty or public figures, doesn't create admiration. It invites ridicule.
It's so hard to know, but there is a very much an aspect of Meghan that very much is living like in the early 2000s, where she thinks like getting on the cover of Harper's Bazaar is somehow a big coup. No, it's probably actually if she teamed up with some sort of TikTok star or something, that would be actually what sets tongues a-blazing. I mean, mainstream media is pretty much dead. Meghan constantly relies on them to try and get attention. And this cover shoot is awful. It is awful in every sort of way. The outfits are bad. She looks terrible in pretty much every single picture. They're not flattering. She looks like she's, of course, cosplaying her mother-in-law or cosplaying other people. And so it's just a really pathetic display. And looking coy in behind-the-scenes videos really means nothing. Sure, Meghan may have somebody who's willing to tell her she's a 10 out of 10, but don't talk to me until she's, let's say, fixed the problem of world hunger or something. She's just literally standing there or sitting there for a photo shoot. This is nothing groundbreaking. This is nothing particularly interesting. It's just another lame attempt by a woman who has used her PR as a battering ram to try and get ahead, but all it does is remind people there's no talent there at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely there is no talent, of course.
Meanwhile, contrast this with Catherine, Princess of Wales. Royal etiquette meets genuine empathy in her actions. From offering to remove her shoes in someone's home to sending handwritten notes of thanks, Catherine connects personally, respectfully, and gracefully. Her work on addiction awareness shows modern royals at their best, using influence to uplift, support, and bring attention to critical causes.
You contrast it to Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who's actually doing quite a lot of brave stuff, Brittany, and I want to come to her big move on addiction and addicts in just one moment. But first, Roman Kemp, who's a big star here in the UK, TV and radio presenter, has been talking about Catherine and when she visited him and his family. And the Mirror's reporting it this way, that the princess offered to remove her shoes when visiting Martin Kemp and Shirley's home to film mental health content. And God, it's a contrast, Brittany, isn't it? It is just such a contrast, as always. Here, totally unprompted, another story about what Catherine's like And the details are fascinating. You know, she turns up at the house, Brittany. There's no paparazzi outside. She offers to take her shoes off because everyone else has taken their shoes off. Of course, they say, oh, don't even worry about it. But she does. Do you know what I mean? The shoes come off because she wants to be like everyone else. And then afterwards, they receive a beautiful handwritten note thanking the family for their time. It is absolutely fascinating, just that insight into how she works.
And it's a great contrast again to how, again, Catherine exemplifies what we want from royalty, which is yes, you have titles, you have a tiara you can wear, you have, Bentleys, chauffeured Bentleys to take you around. But at the same time, you have to have this quality of being down to earth and being able to communicate with people and not, let's say, just relying on your title, having those personal connections. And again, it can be something as simple as looking and going, hey, everybody's shoes are over here by the door. So I guess I should take my shoes off too because everybody else is doing it. And I want to be respectful of the home. I can imagine Meghan Markle, although she's obsessed with her bare feet, just going, well, I'm Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. You need to not only announce me, but I'm too good to take off my shoes in your home. Whereas Catherine just wanted to be like everybody else, wanted to communicate with them, wanted to have this moment of interaction and wanted it to be informal. That way, even though there's a somewhat formality to it, that people feel the ability to open up and share their experiences. And again, I think that's just such an critically important thing to share and to note. And it again goes to how royals must balance sort of this new modern world, which is, yes, again, you have this very elevated position. You get to wear these exceptional clothes and do these exceptional things, yet you also have to touch the everyman in a very common and easy way. And I think Catherine really does exemplify that to the nth degree. And I think this is a fantastic story to demonstrate those abilities.
Yeah, I think it is. And then, Brittany, we come to the big move today, which made the front page of a couple of the newspapers here. Addiction and addicts specifically. And Catherine's really going there. She said, proud to be patron of the Ford Trust this Addiction Awareness Week. Addiction is not a choice or a personal failing, but a complex mental health condition that should be met with empathy and support. And again, to me, Brittany, this is about the new bravery that we're seeing from Catherine in her work.
Yes. And I think because, Dan, of her cancer diagnosis and experience, I think she does come at these situations very differently than she did before. And I think William, in a lot of ways, as well. Now, while I do actually a little bit disagree with some of the language there, particularly that addiction is not a choice, because oftentimes it's a choice to get sober or what have you. I do understand that, yes, it's a very complex emotional thing. And for those who are battling with addiction, is a lifelong struggle, honestly, to get through those situations. And so I think this is an incredibly important topic to tackle. And I think we will see Catherine again continue to go down this path and try to address this issue to the best of her abilities and enact, again, what royals are great at doing is raising awareness and attracting support to organizations, let's say, who are helping those struggling with addiction. That is what modern royals do. They attract support and financial benefits and these sorts of things to these organizations through their connections. And
The story of Meghan and Harry, juxtaposed with Catherine, underscores a lesson in legacy and perception. Entitlement, reliance on wealth, and staged appearances only go so far. Real impact requires authenticity, effort, and a genuine connection to the public. As Meghan navigates celebrity, scrutiny, and privilege, one question looms. How long will the world indulge a life built on borrowed luxury and curated image?
Duchess of York. Didn't take long, did it, to find out that she's fishing for cash. Front page of The Sun newspaper over the weekend with the revelation that she's weighing up a six-figure offer for a tell-all TV interview. And they report that she's considering offers. US channels said to be willing to pay that because it would be the first chat since losing her Duchess of York title. Palace aides worried at what Fergie may say. Sources said they fear that she'll go rogue now that she is out of the royal family. And it's looking like Oprah Winfrey is the contender, given that she has spoken with her before. One source said the royals are bound to worry at the prospect, but there's not much they can do to stop her. Andrew has had his chance to tell his story. Now it's Fergie's time. I mean, Brittany, I find it astonishing that Oprah Winfrey would want to go there after the damage that was done by her Oprah Winfrey interview, because would she really be prepared to challenge Fergie, who, let's be honest, has been much more of a friend over the past few years?
Well, we've seen with the Harry and Meghan interview that Oprah Winfrey is just not really interested in actually asking good questions and knowing the intricacies of royal life and being able to ask those really key questions. She obviously sidestepped so many of those in the Harry and Meghan interview, much to her detriment, I think, in many ways. But it'll get headlines if she does the interview. And at the end of the day, Hollywood, Oprah, and these types, they're all just sort of interested in the paycheck. They might stand on principle in some things, but really they just want to get whatever success they can out of a situation, whatever money they can. So I think Oprah would definitely be a strong contender here. And this again goes back to the problem of rogue royals and how you deal with them, because this has been a long-standing issue with Fergie for years and years and years. Sarah has always gone to where there is cash. She is always in debt. And so she's pretty much willing to do almost anything, contact anyone. Again, this is how we got into the Jeffrey Epstein situation, sort of in the first place for her, willing to seek out anyone in order to make some money. And this is no exception. And again, this goes back to the problem of you need to address the Harry and Meghan thing as well, because in 30 years, Sarah is what Meghan will become. So they have to address this. They don't really have any options with Sarah at this point. And it just got to such an extent that there's really no change, no going backwards. And while I do think Sarah will do her utmost in many ways to protect the monarchy because she wants to protect her daughters, I would imagine the clause, let's say, will truly come out if her daughters are stripped of their titles at some point in the future. I think that's when things will really, really change. But this is not a surprise. Of course, she was going to do this. She needs the money. She can't publish her books anymore. This was always the path she was unfortunately going to go down.
It was absolutely inevitable. And of course, this is one of the reasons that King Charles would argue, well, this is why I tried to keep her in the fold. But oh, what a mess. We've got much more coming up over on Substack for our Royal Uncancelled After Show. Meghan Markle is now endorsing a revolting troll who is part of the Sussex squad to come after Lady Colin Campbell. This is really shocking stuff. So we're going to get into it all over at www.outspoken.live, paid monthly or annual.
In the end, the tale is not just about royal titles, cover shoots, or private jets. It's about the difference between influence and substance, image and impact, perception and reality. And in that story, actions, quiet, sincere, and thoughtful, speak far louder than announcements, covers, or curated social media clips.